Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon, let's get to it.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Undisputed, live from Los Angeles. I'm Jen Hale, here alongside the one and only Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
Got my black on today.
Ready for battle.
Got black on today.
It looks great.
It ain't no
green.
Green. You know what this suit is.
Huh?
Yeah, you thought you had a monopoly on the black suit.
Somebody is obsessed with their apparel on a daily basis, and I don't get it because it doesn't matter what I wear. It matters what I say and what I do to you as I'm about to do you in.
They call me the pallbearer.
Do they?
I come to take you to
Really?
your place. Yeah.
I don't think they call. You know what I call you? I call you Flopadamus. That's what I call you, Flopadamus. And we're going to see if you're going to flip flop right now.
Baby.
We got two people ready for Game 3 tonight, that's for sure. On today's show is Anthony Davis coming here to L.A.
What?
Plus, Kevin Durant. Should he avoid New York? But hey, let's start with the finals in Game 3 because these guys are ready to go. The Raptors and Warriors all tied up with that big Game 3 tonight at Oracle. Golden State a 4.5-point favorite, but yes, they are wrestling with major injury issues. KD officially out for tonight's game, but Steve Kerr says he's, quote, ramping up his exercise routines. Meanwhile, Klay Thompson strained that hamstring in Game 2. His status now for tonight, up in the air. Take a listen to Klay yesterday.
Obviously, I'll do anything I can to be out there, but it's all in their hands, and if there's any pain, it would be a no-go just because of the position we're in. This could be a longer series, so there's no point in trying to go out there and re-aggravate it and potentially keep myself out of the whole entire finals instead of just one game. So, like I said, it'll be a game-time decision, but I really want to be out there.
Klay, so important on both sides of the court for the Warriors.
Yep.
How do you see this one shaking out, Shannon?
I didn't like what I heard. I didn't like what I hear. Skip. I'm not liking what I'm hearing.
Maybe he's gamesmanshiping you.
Maybe
he's
he is
playing with you.
You know what? I'm going to take the Warriors. I believe Klay will play, and if he plays, I believe he'll play well. The crowd is going to be unbelievable tonight. This is the first time they've been home in a very long time. That crowd's going to be amped. 1-1 series. They know they can put themselves in a very advantageous situation here. So I'm going to take the Warriors.
But you didn't like what you just heard.
I didn't.
Okay, so you're going to take the Warriors, and you think there's going to be no Klay?
No. I believe he'll play.
Okay.
I do believe Klay will play. I believe that, he says that if I feel any pain, and I get it, Skip. This could be a 6-7 game series, and you don't want to have any setback.
You do not.
You have a setback, you're done for this series. He knows that, and I think the Warriors understand that. I think being tied gives them a situation, Skip. Okay, at worst case scenario, it'll be 2-1, and then we'll get a healthy Klay back on Friday if that was going to be the case. But I believe he'll play. Believe he'll play well. Draymond Green is playing unbelievable. He's averaging almost a triple-double in this series. Boogie Cousins played really well coming off that game one in which he only played 8 minutes, didn't show a whole lot, but he showed the old Boogie. He's rounding into shape. I'm not concerned with Boogie, Skip, from game 2 to 3. I'm more concerned 3 to 4 because there's only one day in between
Good
now
point.
moving forward.
Yep.
But I believe he's well-rested. I believe he'll play well. Steph played really well game 1. He didn't play as well as people think in game 2, considering he had a stretch. Remember, Skip, with like 3.5 minutes left in the half, he had like 7 points. And then all of a sudden he goes boom, 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 boom. And the next thing you know, he ends the half, he has 16 points. But he only scored 7 points in the second half, and he got all those in the third quarter. Didn't even score a point, didn't even attempt a shot in the fourth quarter. But I'm going to take these guys at home because one of the main reasons I'm going to is because I don't know what I'm going to get from anybody other than Kawhi. I've been very disappointed in Kyle Lowry, Skip. He's been a disappointment in the NBA Finals. I don't know. Siakam, you thought he was the best player on the team. He showed you clearly he isn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he showed you.
What about game 1?
Yeah, hold on. They played 2 games.
Well, number 2, he disappeared in game 2.
No, he did not.
Yeah, he did.
Skip, stop that.
Yeah.
Stop.
Well,
it's not
did.
First of all, I didn't ask you anything. You interrupted
I just
me.
have to clarify.
I don't want you to clarify.
The misrepresentations that you try to foist on the public
How about
watching this show.
When it's your turn to speak, you can make any necessary corrections you like. But anyway, Kawhi's really the only guy that I trust, and even though he hasn't shot the ball particularly well from the field, he's finding a way to score his points by getting to the free throw line, being really, really aggressive. Now, if he can just get a few of those shots to drop and still play with the aggressiveness of taking the ball to the basket, I like this. He shot 28 free throws in the past 2 games, made 26 of those. So that's where I'm going. I'm going to take the Warriors because I don't know what I'm going to get from anybody other than Kawhi, and I believe Klay will play, and I believe he'll play well. But if he doesn't, Skip, I reserve the right.
Oh, wait, we just put a big asterisk beside the prediction.
Let me write
Well,
that.
We got reserve the right to flip or flop.
Oh, well, hold on.
Is it flip or flop?
But what if we get breaking news that Klay's out sometime during the show? Do I get the right to change my? If we get breaking news that Klay Thompson will not play tonight, can I change my pick? Yes or no?
No.
That's a shame, Skip. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I'm not ashamed of myself because I'm going to say this again. On Monday, I picked the Raptors.
Yes.
And I'm going to say Toronto will win Game 3 at Oakland with or without Klay Thompson. I'll be on the record. I'm going to go one way or the other. I'm sticking, Klay or no Klay, it doesn't bother me one way or the other, with or without.
It bothers me.
Okay.
So if we get breaking news, if Healy comes to my ear, Klay is going to be out, I reserve the right to change my pick.
Well, it is interesting because the point spread fluctuations have actually
They've been
mirrored.
crazy.
Huh?
They've been crazy.
They've mirrored your flip-flopping opinions, actually. It's going back and forth. Because it opened at 5, and it got bet up to 5.5, then up to 6, then down to 5.5, down to 5, down to 4.5, up to 5, and back to now settling at 4.5. Still too many points. I still got Toronto. I said it Monday. I'm sticking with it. And again, if we could, I'm going to try to reassure you about Klay because I think he will try to go tonight because it's just his nature. And if we could see the video from yesterday of him shooting the basketball, if we could just lay eyes on this, okay, that looked pretty good right there, right? That looked like he stepped into that 3 and there's a jumper. He jumped off that hamstring, right? I'm not saying he cut hard off the hamstring, but he jumped.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to step on the gas until he absolutely has to.
All right, but that looked better than I thought it would look.
So, yes.
On the
Considering
day
when he walked off the court.
That is correct, because he dragged that leg off the court. Okay, so I do want to make the point before I go into why I'm making my prediction that Klay Thompson is the flip side of number 2. He is the guy. Of all the players we ever talk about on this show, he is the one guy who does not get enough credit for playing through any and everything.
Right.
Remember what happened a year ago, Game 1 of the finals? He badly turned his ankle to the point that he was beyond questionable for Game 2. What did he do? Yeah. He sucked it up, gutted it out, and played Game 2. He played 34 minutes and scored 20 points in Game 2. I was like, wow. But did he give credit? Get a lot of credit for it? No, he didn't get any credit for it.
He ain't tougher than number
Okay, so number two is not tough at all.
Yes, he is very
because
tough.
He's injured every night. There's always a question: can he go or not go?
He's
What is it
seriously
tonight?
injured.
Okay.
You make it seem like it's just nagging bumps and bruises.
Yeah. Well, this guy's got a serious hamstring. If his hamstring is at all, they said it was strained via MRI, right?
Right, correct.
So to me, if it's got a spasm in it or who knows? That is debilitating.
Mm-hmm.
That is can't go.
Right.
Knee tendonitis, you can just tough it out. And the point is, they're all hurt at this stage. Steph's got stuff. Iggy's got a whole bunch of stuff going on, right?
Yes.
Okay. So to me, I want you to think about what's happened the last 5 games with the team you just picked to win Game 3. The last 5 games of these playoffs, the Golden State Warriors have trailed by 17, 18, and 17 in the last 3 games against Portland. They trailed at Toronto by 12 in Game 1 and 12 in Game 2. Those are big double-digit deficits, right? And yet, they flurried back to win 4 of those 5 games.
Right.
But it's still a bad sign that you fall that far behind in 5 straight games. And you know why they fell behind? Because they are running on empty.
Oh, they're on fumes.
They are on psychological fumes because they are battling through the wear and tear of a 5th straight NBA Finals. They have played 5 straight years, the deepest you can play into the NBA schedule, and it's wearing them all out mentally and physically, right? Okay, so now let's look at what's happened at home. Even with KD, with KD at home in the regular season, what's happened? They lost 6 games at Oracle by 20+. They lost 2 by 30+. And with Kevin Durant against the Clippers in round 1 of these playoffs, they lost 2 home games. And in one, they blew a 31-point lead to lose to those Clippers. Okay, so that's how shaky they've been at Oracle. Those are all bad signs, which lead to tonight. So the point is, Toronto can't feel too awful about what happened in Game 2. They cut the deficit all the way to 2 points. They didn't get blown out.
No.
They didn't get decisively handled. They cut it to 2 with 26 seconds left, right?
Yes.
And if the two-way superstar for the Toronto Raptors, if number 2 had intercepted the desperate, awful pick-6 pass that Steph just flung up into the air.
Well, he traveled. The last 2-minute report, which you love, said he traveled before that.
Okay, but that was well before that.
Exactly.
When he was trapped.
So he shouldn't even had an opportunity.
He shuffled his pivot foot a little bit, but when does that ever get called in any game in the NBA?
Did it happen?
But by the letter of the law, it happened. But what also had just happened previous to that was what I told you the next day had happened, that number 2 drove and DeMarcus Cousins reaches in and clean swipes the ball right out of his hand, and the whistle blows and Steph grabs the basketball and throws it up into rafters, and it results in 3 quick points because he made his 3 free throws that they did not deserve. Right?
Free throw shooting in the playoffs.
Okay, so that game would have been over at that point. That ends the game right there.
Maybe.
If he does, well, no, it just definitely does. Okay, so remember, if he intercepts the pick-6 pass and goes the other way and dunks it and ones it, then we're having a whole different conversation.
Right.
And by the way, I'm going to say it one more time. If number 2 hadn't played like number 2 down the stretch, as in doo-doo, as in number 2 doo-doo, that's what he was. He was doo-doo.
He had 6 points in the fourth quarter.
And he shouldn't have had those 3. And in the first 3 that he got was on an and one in which he just clearly charges. It's offensive foul. It's elbow to the chest of Draymond and another elbow into Bogut. Yep. He knocked them both down like bowling pins and got away with it and came down flat-footed and traveled and then threw it off the glass.
He put the ball up before he came down.
Okay, he didn't deserve any of those points. And yet, what did he do down the stretch? He played 8 minutes, 0 for 3 from 3, and in the last minute 30, 0 for 2 from 2 because he missed 2 9-foot jumpers, and he had the crucial turnover at 2:18. If you're that guy, if you're that superstar, you get that game literally home. And you know what? We're having a very different conversation because Golden State is fighting out of an 0-2 hole.
Well, I'll give you this. He hasn't shot the ball well in the first 2 finals games, but he's still finding a way to impact the game by getting to the foul line. I'll give you that. I'll concede that. Some of these shots will start to fall. He's too good of a player to shoot this poor from the field. So I'm not concerned about Kawhi Leonard. Who I am concerned about is Kyle Lowry.
Okay, speaking of Kyle Lowry, I'm here to predict right here, right now, he's going to have a good game tonight. Kyle Lowry.
Gooder than what? How many points?
Well,
15 more?
20. He'll score 20 points. He'll have that kind of game. He'll make, I might even give him 4 threes tonight because Kyle Lowry always says, I play better on the road. I don't know why he does, but he's one guy who does play better away. And I think the pressure will be a little bit off him tonight because they're out from under a Toronto crowd that has mixed emotions about Kyle Lowry. We're going to talk about DeMar DeRozan a little bit later in the show. But
why they got mixed emotions about him?
Because that 1-2 punch has gotten them punched right in the gut again and again in big postseason games. Yeah. Those 2 guys have come up small again and again and again, oftentimes against your man LeBron James. They just genuflect. They just drop to their knees and say, we are not worthy of you.
Isn't that what teams did to your Bulls? They genuflect? You talk about Mike.
What are we talking about? We're talking about the Raptors right now, and you're trying to compare them to the Bulls?
Well, guess what? DeMar DeRozan isn't there.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry isn't their best player.
Okay, but he represents the awful past, all the misery of the past, and when he's at home, I think he crumbles under the onslaught of pressure that he feels.
Well, it should be that, Skip. I mean, they're in the NBA Finals. All should be forgotten.
Okay. I'm just saying, when you get him out of there and get him to Oracle, he's a bulldog. He plays hard-nosed defense, and he can make big shots when he feels comfortable and gets in the flow.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not questioning how hard he plays, but he needs to play smarter. He had 5 fouls in game 1. He fouled out in game 6.
Frustration.
Yeah, you can't. Skip, you can't do that in these moments.
Okay, he's not that guy either. He's not a team carrier. but he has made all-star teams before. So, okay, he's got the ability to have a good game, and he's going to have a good game. Siakam will have a much better game. Gasol,
I hope so.
Okay, Gasol will have a much better game.
I hope so
too. Okay, and the guy, I'm actually defending number 2 right now because you can't play worse than he played down the stretch. You cannot. So I'm saying he's going to have a good game. I'm predicting right now number 2 is going to rise and shine on the road at Oracle.
Skip, the man is averaging 31 points a game. What you mean he's going to have a good game?
It's those empty stats.
No, ain't no empty.
Stats.
Ain't no empty.
It's LeBron James Memorial Box Score.
Don't do that.
It is, because you got to look at what happens down the stretch. I just detailed for you what happened.
I saw a buzzer beater down the stretch.
Yeah. The luckiest shot in the history of the NBA playoffs.
I saw him knock the MVP from 2019. The guy that's going to win the MVP, I see him knock him out of the playoffs.
The most overrated superstar in the playoffs? I
don't know anything about him being overrated or underrated.
You do know.
I just know Kawhi Leonard put that thing on him.
Okay. And remember, this could, if Klay can't go, and again, if he does try to play, he's going to be all offense and little defense, because you know and I know you can control your movements on offense and you can't control on defense. You have to react instead of proact.
Exactly.
So Klay can kind of cut as best he can, controlling his hamstring off picks. But then on the other end, do you think they're going to assign him again to number 2 like they did the other night? No. Nope. So I think that's a break for number 2. I don't think he'll have. And Iggy, I'm going to say this again. He turned his ankle when he ran into right before he just bashed
on the pick.
Yeah, when he got concussed.
Gasol.
Right?
Yeah.
He turned his ankle, so he's got a calf, an ankle. He's probably still a little woozy from he's got Achilles. He's got everything going on. So it's going to be him on number 2, limited. Or will they try Draymond a little bit? Draymond can't really cover him on.
Try anybody you like. Okay. We're going for 35.
Okay. Well, who are you picking now? Are you ready to switch?
I'm telling you. No, I want him to go for 35.
Okay.
So you won't have anything to come in here and talk about
tomorrow.
I just
predicted he was going to have a big game. I don't know if I'm going to go, I'll go 35. Sure.
But this is what I don't understand.
That's about his average.
Why you want to pick his team? You dislike him so much.
I told you, Golden State in 7. It's in concrete in my notes. I don't waver. I don't flip. I don't even flop.
Me either.
Yeah.
I picked the Warriors.
Yeah. I gave you flip-flops because you deserve them.
But if I get breaking news, I reserve the right.
Yep.
Skip, Vegas will let you do that. They'll let you pull your money if an injury happens in a fight. You bet something like, I want my money back.
Okay. Well, I think my money is going to be on Nick Nurse tonight because he is impressing me more by the game. And it was amazing to me that he said yesterday that down the stretch of game 2, maybe at that 8-minute mark, when it looked like no Klay was going to return,
right?
He just called his team together in the huddle and he said, hey, I got an idea. You guys know what a box and one is? They go, no, nobody knew what a box and one. Well, here's how you do it. You got 4 guys, and he said, we'll take 2 guys and put them at the rim, and we'll put 2 guys out front, and then we'll have Van Vliet. Freddie, you'll just chase Steph. You'll just face guard him the whole way, okay? And they bought it, but he left it up to his team.
Right.
Have you ever heard a coach say, what do you guys think about this? And finally, it was up to Kyle Lowry, kind of the leader or the elder statesman, to say, you know what? I kind of like the idea of it. I've never tried it before, but I kind of like the idea.
Right.
Steph Curry didn't even get a shot up in the last 8 minutes. In the fourth quarter, he went 0 for 0 and 0 for 0 from the free throw line.
Well, that works really well, that box and one, Skip, if you don't have another shooter on the court. You got Klay Thompson.
That's what I'm saying, but if he's limited minutes tonight, okay, I think we'll see box and one, and I think it will work. Yeah. And Draymond, what did he say? I'll
slice it up.
Dice it up or what, right? Okay, I'm sure they practiced against it the last couple of days, but I think it worked, and I think it will continue to work, and I think it'll be a decided advantage. And I love Steve Kerr. He's pushed a lot of nice buttons too. But both the coaches have done very well, but I think Nick Nurse has shown me this stage is not too big for him. So I say his team, which is the best defensive team in basketball, at least in the playoffs, I say they win 115 to 110 tonight.
But you know what? You can be the best coach when you got the best player in the playoffs.
Okay. All right.
That number 2 is special.
Really?
Kawhi Leonard?
Yeah.
He's special.
Boy, he was special the last 8 minutes. I got to tell you.
You know what? So that's all we're going to talk about the last 8 minutes. Now, when he dropped, I want you to remember this. Now, when he dropped by 14 in the fourth quarter, I want you to come out here and give him credit tomorrow.
I will give him credit because I'm predicting it right now. Whatever it takes to win this game, he and they will do it. He's going to need help. Yeah. He and they. He and they. He's going to have help. I think Kyle Lowry will come up big in the fourth.
Well, I hope so.
And Van Vliet. Van Vliet is the closer for this team.
Don't you think it would be about time that Kyle Lowry showed up?
Okay, I just told you he was. I'm predicting. I'm out front of it.
And then, what about those 6 points? Oh, you love the 6 points that Marc Gasol gave you against in game 6.
Just told you.
Oh, he gave you 6 points. Oh, that was the biggest 6 points you'll ever see.
I think I'm scaring the hell out of you over there because you know I'm on the right side of this. Let's see. I picked Toronto in game 1. That's right. I picked Golden State in game 2. That was really right. And now I've got Toronto.
You got lucky in game 2.
Yeah, okay.
I picked the score. I was right on the score in game 1.
I got lucky. I lost Klay Thompson with 8 minutes left. Is that luck?
That's what I'm saying. You got lucky. That's why you won. You got lucky.
I lost Kevon Looney for the whole game, basically. Was that lucky?
And you were supposed to lose.
Okay.
Lose Klay, lose
I was so lucky that the guy I was betting 3 cases of Diet Dew on, Steph Curry, I said he was the guy who had to bring it home. He scored 0 points in the last 8 minutes of the game.
Just his presence.
0. Okay,
just his
so how lucky was it? Does that sound like luck?
Well, you'll be unlucky tonight. You'll be unlucky tonight.
Okay, because?
I'm taking Steph.
Okay,
Steph.
all right. Okay, I don't love Steph with the pressure on. This is too much pressure.
Like I said, I just believe Klay will play, and he'll play well enough. And Draymond has been unbelievable. I can see another triple-double for Draymond. And Boogie just needs to give them what he gave them on Sunday.
Okay, I'm sure he will, but I just don't know if his wind isn't up to another 28 minutes. That's a lot to ask of him.
Well, he's had a couple of days off. He should be. Now, you should be concerned with that on Friday if he has to play 28, 30 minutes tonight.
I give you the right now to change your pick.
Nope, I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it right now.
You can have number 2 right now. He's the quote-unquote best player in maybe he's the best player on the planet.
You don't need to use quote.
Quote unquote.
He is.
You can have him right now if you want him. Going once.
Say it again.
Going
Kawhi
twice.
is the best player in the playoffs.
No.
It is.
No.
Who's better?
I don't know. You got to do better than what you just did. I think Klay Thompson's going to be the MVP of this.
Me too.
Of this finals. Really?
Me too.
Wow. I got a vote of confidence.
No. They were going to let that happen. The voters ain't going to let Steph lose another one.
Okay.
And Shannon, don't forget you promised a costume if Kawhi has at least 30 or more.
He going to get it.
Wait, this would really mix your emotions. I don't know if you can costume me tomorrow if you pick Golden State right now.
Yeah.
You could switch.
No, I'm
you
not
want to take
switching.
Toronto so you can open the door for costume?
No.
Up.
I'm going to have to bring out my Steph Curry jersey.
Really? Okay, that would work. But I don't know if you can't cornrow me.
I might just.
Can you light skin me? I don't know.
Fox ain't got that kind of wardrobe. They got that kind of wardrobe.
Well, gentlemen, let me remind you, Klay's never missed a playoff game. Wow. So the Golden State training staff certainly busy bees today trying to get him ready for tonight. Up next, are the Pelicans finally ready to trade Anthony Davis? We're discussing that, and don't forget to check us out on the Fox Sports channel on SiriusXM. We'll be right back, everybody.
No mercy.
All right, down to my hometown of New Orleans, Anthony Davis still wants out of the Crescent City. Despite meeting with Pelicans executive VP David Griffin last week, AD says nope, still wants a trade. That's what the Athletic's reporting. They say Griffin is now listening to offers. Who's up? Well, NBA execs say the Celtics, Knicks, Nets, and Lakers all expected to have enticing trade packages. We cannot forget, of course, the Lakers tried unsuccessfully to trade for AD back in February. Shannon, that was a painful ordeal for both cities, both teams. What do you make of the situation now?
The AD wanted out. He's never wavered from that. And there's nothing that David Griffin or anyone could have done to change his mind. I believe if AD felt that Zion Williamson was a Magic Johnson or LeBron-type player, that he would be willing to stay. But he doesn't view him as that. And he says Zion needs the ball like me. And I've had my fill. Look, I've been here for 6-7 years. I said what I said. The organization and the fan base reacted how they did. It's time for us to move on. The simple as that, Skip Bayless. And I told you it was going to come to this. Now, they better be glad they got Zion Williamson because you could have been left high and dry. But you got something. So now do the right thing. Now, David Griffin is the president of basketball operations. In other words, he's running the show. It's hard for me to believe that in any business, you let personal feelings get involved. Because normally if you're a business person and you let personal feelings get involved, you don't stay in business very long. Now, I understand that you're all upset about the Lakers and how they tried to commandeer Anthony.
Not the Lakers. Not the Lakers.
The Lakers.
Be clear about it.
I'm being crystal.
Okay. Crystal means clutch.
I'm being
or unclutch, right?
The Lakers tried to commandeer Anthony Davis from the Pelicans.
Not.
Yeah, they
it
did.
wasn't the Lakers. It was unclutched.
Hold on, Taft, first of all.
It was a LeBron production.
That was not a LeBron production.
He produces everything in Hollywood, including that trade.
LeBron is a player on the Lakers. He's a client of Rich Paul, who's the CEO of Clutch Sports.
Okay, so Rich Paul's the bad guy.
Right? Whatever.
Okay.
Now, you got to make somebody the villain. But anyway, look, the Pelicans are going to have to make a deal here sooner rather than later. Because the longer you go, Skip, there's a risk that Anthony Davis get hurt. You go to the trade deadline, so the longer this thing plays out, the less value Anthony Davis is going to have for you. So the best thing you can do is just go ahead and move him along to the best package, the best offer. And you know who's going to be able to put that together. Because last I checked, when the last time you heard somebody mention Jason Tatum? Huh? Man, I heard somebody mention Tatum O'Neal. And I ain't heard her name mentioned in like 5-6 years. Jason Tatum. Remember Skip on last? Oh, he the best player. He gonna be an all-star next year. Huh? Really? Is he better than Kuzma? Really? You feel he's better than B.I.? I don't know.
Okay.
And now what you gonna do? Who you gonna pair him with? Oh, you gonna pair him with Kyrie? Bye. So look at this. When it's all said and done, when all the smoke is cleared, when all the dust is settled and the sky is blue again, here we are right here in La La Land with the best deal that you could have taken. Can you imagine, Skip? Dale Demps would still have a job if he had taken this deal instead of trying to put Magic Johnson and the Lakers on blast by releasing every trade package that he came up with. That's what you get, Dale. Now, the same guy that got your job, a job that you could have kept had you made this deal, you could have been sitting in the catbird seat. But now you're at home watching me tell you how ridiculous you were by doing this.
The same guy who just 2 weeks ago completely gave up on the AD trade. Sat over there with his chin down his hand. He just gave up. He said, it's not going to happen. Nobody's coming to the Lakers.
I feel better now. I feel better.
You feel better?
I feel much better.
Floppadamus at work again.
I
Here
feel better.
Yeah. So, you're right about me. Silly me. I thought that Anthony Davis would reconsider. Number one, they hired David Griffin. I have nothing but respect for David Griffin. He brings a credibility to that position they have not had there in New Orleans, maybe ever. And number two, they obviously hit the lottery. They landed the number one overall against all odds. Okay? And number three, I'm going to say it again. If Anthony chooses to force this trade through, he's going to leave $90 million on the table in New Orleans that he could get for re-signing with his home team.
Well, we do a sign and trade.
Okay. Well, maybe, but I don't think that's going to happen either. I think he's going to walk away from $90 million. And I wonder what his agent, Rich Paul, is advising him on that.
We'll get it back.
Because it's possible that Rich Paul is at cross purposes here. Who's his priority client? Is it AD or LeBron?
No.
Wait. LeBron's more important than Anthony, right?
Hold on.
So maybe he sides with LeBron because he's got to keep his better interests.
I'm not going to let you do it. In 2018, his number one focus was who, Skip? The summer of 2018 was LeBron James.
Oh.
Now it's the summer of 2019.
And his primary focus is LeBron James.
Anthony Davis.
And will always be
Anthony
LeBron
Davis.
James. No, it is. You know what?
Two things can be true.
Okay, and I even thought that Anthony would have the cachet with David Griffin to say, hey, could we at least think about maybe taking Ja Morant instead of Zion? Because Ja Morant is a pure pass-first point guard who would be the most beautiful, perfect fit with AD and Drew Holiday, who's more two-guard than point guard, right?
No.
So you got that. The world is your New Orleans oyster if you want it.
Right.
But apparently he still doesn't want it, or maybe his agent doesn't want it.
Skip, but you know, even in today's game, when the three ball is so important, most teams, I say 28 out of 30 teams, will never pass on a good big for a good little.
Okay, unless you have a great big, and most people think he's great. I don't know that Anthony Davis is great.
He is great.
Which is why I told you from the start, if we're talking about superstar, if we're talking about franchise carrier, he is overrated. He is more of a PER king, a statistical monster, than a winning monster.
I think he's third or fourth all time in PER.
Okay, yeah, but so his record in the regular season so far in this league is 216 and 250. So he's way under 500 in the regular season. His playoff record is 5-8. Why is that? He doesn't have that dominant Jordan-esque personality that can lift a whole franchise to greatness. He's not built that way. He's more of a complimentary star, which is why I get it. Maybe he needs LeBron just like LeBron needs him. Maybe they would be a better fit together than Anthony trying to carry the whole show, even with Zion beside him and Drew Holiday in New Orleans. Maybe it would be a better fit for him in LA. So I'm going to give you that.
Okay.
And why? On just pure foolish pride, Dell Demps didn't say, I'll take that, because I told you then. We had LeVar on yesterday, LeVar Ball. And what did he argue with you about? And I was with LeVar on this. I didn't say a word about it because LeVar's trying to say, hey, all these kids are better as a package than Anthony Davis would be with LeBron. And I'm with him on that because I love Lonzo and his potential, and Kuzma, and B.I., and Josh Hart. And remember, Zubats was in that deal.
But
Big Zoo that you love.
Skip, I would have agreed with you and LeVar if LeBron James wasn't going into year 17.
Okay, fine. But that package, if true, if the reporting was all true, and I believe it was true, that basically Dell Demps could just say, I'll take him. I don't know what you could fit under the salary cap, but they're all on rookie deals. So maybe you could fit a bunch of them. 5 of them, right? It's so much. The future could be so great for those 5. You just take them and start out. We're back. Hey, they'd be right in the thick of the playoffs like that with those kids as they grow up. And again, you could maybe keep Julius Randle and Drew, and now you got Zion, right? Okay, so they should have done that deal, and maybe they'll do a semblance of this deal right now.
Right.
Which leads us back to our moderator right now, Jen, who covers the Pelicans. So gut feeling as a New Orleans native, where does it now feel like in your eyes that Anthony sits in New Orleans? How do people feel about him? How do you feel about him?
I love him. I've covered him since he was 19 years old. He and his family are practically like family to me. I have been shocked at the behavior the past year that we've seen out of Anthony Davis. It has not been him, and it's not just me saying that. His teammates say that too. He's always been such a great community citizen. He and his family
seems like
have
a
done
good kid.
He's a great kid.
He's a great kid.
His entourage has always been his family. He's never gotten involved with the distractions you see with so many other players. And from the time he hired Rich Paul, you could see a marked change in his behavior. Wearing a "That's All Folks" t-shirt to the last game. That's not Anthony. He is a class act. His family's a class act. And it really burned bridges in New Orleans. New Orleans is an incredibly loyal city. They will stick with you till the very end. And
well, the end is over, Jen.
Yeah, it torched it down. And Gail Benson even met with Anthony twice. The door was open for him to return. But
you mean fairly recently?
Back when he was first requesting this trade. She wanted to understand, what's going on with this? What do you need that we can do? And as Shannon referenced, AD's mind was made up, and I think that was Rich Paul making up his mind. I don't think AD's going through this.
What did she tell him? What did she offer him, or what were the new rules going to be?
If he were to stay, if he were to change his mind about the trade, it was going to be a more balanced team. It wasn't going to be Anthony gets to make the rules, leave the bench halfway through a game that he wasn't playing in. None of that type of stuff. Very fair rules, I believe. And in the beginning...
But they catered to him, right?
They did, yes. They wanted to make...
They let his girlfriend find the team playing occasionally? Okay. And that
very
was
similar to how Toronto is treating Kawhi. They wanted to roll out the red carpet and make this work.
That lets you know he's a big S superstar. In other words, Skip, look, Anthony Davis is a supermax player. Anthony Davis doesn't even need an agent because with who he is, he's going to get a max. When you hire an agent and you hire that agent, he's telling you, I want to move. But you don't hire a real estate agent unless you want to do what? You want to move. He hired the best real estate agent he could find. He said, get me a new home.
Okay. Well, again, you can't. It doesn't really work with moving because if you just stay in your house, nobody's going to give you $90 extra million to stay in your house.
But he wants to move.
Okay. which is why you do need somebody to manipulate for you, which is why you choose that guy to manipulate, right? Rich Paul.
He could have hired anybody to be his agent. Anyone. And they could get him a max deal. But he wanted this guy because he wanted to go where? Now, the Boston Celtics, the Boston Celtics has all these assets. Really? Yeah, they got 3 picks, Skip. But the best one is what, 14, 20, 25? Good luck with that. Oh, you want the Knicks? Oh, you want Dennis Smith Jr., who will be on his 3rd team in under a year? You want Moutier? You want Kevin Knox? Oh, you want the 3rd pick? Or you want that old plethora of talent we got? We got something to offer.
Or do you want to sit back, as Jeannie Buss would have to and Rob Pelinka, and watch all those kids become men in New Orleans and start to win big in New Orleans? All those Laker kids right now.
And what happens if they don't?
What happens if AD and LeBron don't?
Oh, they will.
Yeah.
They will. And Bron, I trust. And you pair him with AD. When have you ever known Bron to ever have another superstar and not win? Check him out in Miami.
He had a whole bunch of help.
Check him out.
He had a whole bunch of help.
Check him out in Cleveland with Kyrie.
Yeah. Okay.
So now you give him AD, 6'10" and a half, that can play both ends of the court. 28, 12, 2.5.
Yeah, but now you have to give LeBron Father Time. Father Time's riding along. He's
why
riding shotgun right now.
That's why we don't have time to wait on the kids.
Okay.
Kuzma and B.I. and Lonzo, they could possibly be great, Skip. But LeBron is in year 17.
Okay.
Y'all in year 7. So we need to go ahead and make you got to start cooking early, Skip.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If you want the meal prepared, ready by noon, you got to start cooking at 6.
Okay.
You start cooking at 9, you don't eat till 3, and it's too late.
So every day is Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
for the Lakers?
hey, my granny used to get up early in the morning, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Because Barney Porter wanted that thing at noon.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, with a year left on Anthony Davis's contract, David Griffin in the driver's seat right now, so we may very well see a deal.
Don't
like
crash the
Lakers
car.
come back around. I don't think Griffin will.
Hey, Skip, don't be a Tracy Morgan. You see what he did, Skip?
I do.
$2 million Bugatti. Drove it off the lot, and somebody ran into it. David Griffin, don't do that.
No.
You in the driver's seat. But sometimes it's not the driver, it's the people that's watching the driver that caused the accident.
Really? Okay.
Oh, Skip Bayless gonna call you, David Griffin, to meet Dale Demp's fate.
Yep. We'll see about that.
No mercy.
On to your favorite player in the NBA, besides LeBron, I should say. Kawhi Leonard, of course, battling through that left knee injury. That, according
What?
to the
Are we
Athletic.
sure about that?
Well, so the Athletic says. Despite that, Shannon would have tested this one. He thinks the Claw has been fabulous in the playoffs, averaging close to 31 points and 9 boards per game. Yesterday, Kawhi dismissed the injury concern. He said, quote, "I'm 100% when I'm on the floor. No excuses." It sounds good, but Shannon, what do you make of that type of bravado?
Look, I believe Kawhi said all the right things because he's in a no-win situation. He says he's hurt. He's making excuses. Skip Bayless and his entourage are going to jump on.
I don't have an
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
It's
you do.
just
Yeah,
me.
you do.
I'm solo. I fly alone.
You drive a narrative bus and it's filled with people that's waiting to pounce when an athlete says that he's injured. Why would you tell somebody? Magic Johnson would have never said he had an injury. Larry Bird. Did you ever hear Michael Jordan say he had an injury?
Well,
Stop it.
did you?
I ain't worried about that. I don't know what he
Good point you made.
I don't know anything about that. I'm telling you about Kawhi. And we know Kawhi because I've seen Kawhi. I know when Kawhi is healthy.
Oh, really? Yeah, you watched him for 7 years in San Antonio the way I did when you were saying San Antonio has broccoli and I don't eat broccoli.
I don't.
So this is the first time you've ever even watched this guy limp.
I've been watching Kawhi. Watched him a lot.
Yeah, you have.
Watched
Last
him a lot.
couple of months, a lot.
No. I watched it when he was 2-time Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh, did you?
I watched that
I don't
Kawhi.
recall that.
And all of a sudden, he don't have that same giddy up.
Yeah.
He can't skip. Sometimes, an athlete, you can step on the gas and you just go. And then sometimes you got to try to get it to go. And that's what I'm seeing with him. You saw that in game 1, Skip. You know that man can run faster than that. His giddy up had a hitch in it. But you know what? Klaus says, if I'm out here, I'm going to give you everything I got. Yeah, I'm a little hampered, but don't worry about all that. I'm still going to give you 31 and 9. I'm still going to lock people down when I need to. That's what he's going to do, Skip Bayless. So the great athletes, they don't make excuses.
No.
And I've said before, once you put on that jersey, forget it. Be it a football jersey or baseball or basketball, All they see is the name and the number. They see Leonard on the back, number 2, and Raptors on the front. Oh, you out on the court, you 100%. So that's what he said. He says, I'm 100% when I'm on the court. Who says that? That tells you what he's dealing with, Skip. I'm 100% when I'm on the court. Really? You should be 100% off the court too, right?
So you just said, I'm going to quote you, the great athletes don't make excuses.
They don't.
Well, you're a great athlete, and you're making excuses for this
No,
guy.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not in the athletic business.
Oh, you're not in that. And yet, you are still in the Hall of Fame, and you just, I can't take that away. I mean, you threatened to lose it.
You keep trying
to lose it by losing all those bets. But it's okay, because you're still in Canton.
Yeah.
And the guy who's in Canton has tried to school me from the start of this show back in September of 2016 that if you put on the uniform and you step on the field or you step on the court, no excuses.
None. That's what he said.
But you're giving him an
I
excuse.
ain't getting him. Hold on. Did he say?
You're saying he's hurt, right?
He is hurt. I didn't make it up.
Do you realize you are now giving the limping legend, the Eggman? That's what he's the Eggman. You're giving him the ultimate out, the ultimate pass.
Was Tom Brady hurt?
You've become the lead. We're not talking about
No, when he cut his thumb, was he hurt?
Well, did you see it?
Okay.
It was cut deep into the palm of his throwing hand, 12 stitches worth.
It was the thumb area.
Okay, and what did he do in the fourth quarter against Jacksonville?
I don't know.
124.
What did he do in the fourth quarter against Philly?
505 for the game. All-time playoff record. Wow.
Skip, stop that.
Well, you started it. I finished it. So let's get this straight. You are the leader of the, it used to be the blind witnesses for LeBron, but now it's just the blind defenders for this guy.
No.
The apologist. You are the number one apologist for number 2. And yet the point is that you miss, he's always hurt. I watched nearly every game he played for 7 straight years. Well, every game he played, he didn't play 73 the last year. I don't know why. He had a bruised thigh, so he decided I went out, I'm not going to play. But it was always something with him. He is perpetually hurt.
Okay.
And what galls me the most, what makes me the sickest and the tiredest is I told you earlier in this show, they're all hurt right now. They all have some kind of tendonitis. Like Iggy's playing with
degrees, Skip.
Okay, but it's all. And yet, what galls me the most is you are reaching for the weakest, cheapest, really most unfair excuse that you can throw back at me across the table.
What's that?
Which is he's got tendonitis in his knee. Well, the reason it's cheap and unfair is because I really can't argue with that because you don't know and I don't know. I always say, I don't know how much a man is hurt. The only thing I have going for me are these right here. I can do eye test. I can put the eye test on games 1 and 2 at Toronto, and he looked just fine to me because I know his game and his gait.
The only time an eye test matters is you're going to get driver's license or you're going to the doctor's office. But I don't care what your eyes tell you. I know what I see, too.
I saw him exploding to the basket left and right. Sometimes he didn't quite get there because there are long arms of the law up there for
Skip.
Golden State.
You saw the man in game 1. You saw him hobbling. You think he's doing that for
Game
show?
1 of what?
At the finals. He didn't have that giddy up.
Are you kidding me? He's scoring at will.
No. He wasn't scoring at will.
Then I have to read that after game 2, he was limping in the locker room.
Yeah.
This guy's a shrewd operator.
Stop
I've been
it.
trying to warn you about him.
I don't
He has
believe it.
high basketball IQ. He has high gamesmanship IQ. So what did we see him do against Milwaukee? What happened in the first 2 games at Milwaukee? They lost both. They went home to Toronto, and the weight of the Raptor world was now on number 2's shoulders.
And what did he do?
And what did he do?
Gave him the business.
He limped.
Gave him the business.
He limped all through game 3, and it got so bad he forgot which leg was hurting him late in the game. He did. He was limping right leg, and then all of a sudden he's limping left leg after another dunk. Was I left or right? I can't remember. I'll limp both sides.
Well, both of them hurt.
Okay, both of them are hurting. And he limped through game 4. And fortunately for them and him, they won those 2 games and he was back in business. So now he realizes, it's 1-1 and we're going to their place. So after the game, I need to plant seeds of excuse.
Man, you know what Skip Bayless
Okay,
did.
well, he's limping in the locker room in front of all the reporters. Limping back to his locker. I barely can make it to my locker. And then the Athletic quoted him after another game where he said, my SH is hurting me. Okay, great. We get it. Your excuse is planted firmly in the psyches of Shannon Sharpe and all the apologists.
So in other words, he's lying. He's not hurt. He doesn't have tendonitis.
He's exaggerating. I don't know if he has tendonitis or not, and even if he does, it's not that big of a deal.
Skip, you having tendonitis and running on
I got it.
Okay.
I got it, but you can just run through it. He looked just fine to me.
You having tendonitis, running on your treadmill at 2:30 in the morning is different than having tendonitis and playing in an NBA Finals game.
Or running on concrete.
Okay.
On Sunday, yeah.
But let me ask you a question. If you had to run a certain time to try to win, so I'm going to go out there and I'm going to find me 100 people, and you got to beat them all.
Okay.
With tendonitis in your knee.
I can beat them right now.
No, you can't beat nothing.
No, I can't.
You can't even beat me.
What? Ready? I'll go in these shoes I got on right now. We can go right across the street. My course is
That's
right
our
across the
next segment.
street in Cheviot Hills. We can
Let's do
run.
it.
I got an 8-mile loop around Cheviot. It's a little hilly, but you can do it. Your Achilles will hold up.
I don't drive 8 miles in a day,
all right.
let alone run.
Well, you just said it, and I closed your mouth again. So he right on schedule now. He has planted the seed of an excuse for Game 3, just in case it goes wrong. It is an excuse.
Okay, let me ask you a question. So in other words, if he plays well and he scores his 35, has like 10, 11 rebounds, 5 or 6 assists, and they win, he's planting the seed that Kawhi Leonard is so tough, he's playing through pain, he's playing through injury.
He's doing.
Okay, then if he doesn't, he's got another excuse that says the reason why he didn't play well, he's hurt.
You know, the problem here, he is so mentally and physically fragile that you are enabling him to get away with it.
I think
that's what you're
mentally
doing.
tough because it's...
Okay, let's just do this. This would close the argument.
Okay.
If the finals end and the next week it is announced that he needs meniscus cleanup surgery.
I don't need to know that.
If that's what it is, you got me. Then I'll say, I got it, because I know how that feels also. If you've had torn cartilage, right?
Yes, I have.
Okay, it sticks in the mechanism of your knee, and it just kills you. It
does.
If it gets stuck, it'll kind of go in and out. But if it happens to catch,
you ain't bending that knee.
you are down for the count. So if that's going on in his knee right now, if he's playing through a meniscus tear, you got me.
He playing
That's
through bad
guts.
tendonitis from overcompensation.
Overcompensation.
Yes.
It's the thigh, it's the knee, it's the shoulder, it's the hand, it's the calf. It's always something with this guy, and I'm not giving him this. You can give him the excuse, not over on this side of the table.
I don't make excuses.
I expect him to play very well tonight.
course.
I expect him to help win the game.
That's what the
Toronto.
That's what the greats can do.
Oh.
You remember
Well,
that?
he's supremely gifted. I give you that.
You remember that historic performance Isaiah had in the fourth quarter where he dropped
Yeah, now that
25?
was pure guts.
Okay.
I was there. I was in the front row that day at the Forum right here in Los
He
Angeles.
found a way to focus and channel all his energy.
Thank you.
So that's what number 2 is doing. That's what Kawhi's doing. He's focusing all his energy. and
You
gonna
can't even
give
say
to
it
him.
with a straight face.
Gonna give it to him.
can't.
I know Kawhi's injured. I know he's not making
You
this
don't
up.
know.
I do know.
We
You
will
have
find
no
out
idea. He is
more
not a
tonight
liar.
Next,
when
you're
Game
gonna be
3
DMing
tips
with
off.
Kawhi, right?
All right, another free agent that is making headlines. KD, Charles Barkley, says Kevin Durant not made for New York.
What?
Is he right? Well, we're going to have much more on that coming up next.
No mercy. No mercy.
Kevin Durant has missed the last 7 games with a strained calf. Could he have already played his last game in a Warriors uniform? KD can be a free agent this summer, and there have been plenty of rumors that he just might end up with the New York Knicks. Charles Barkley doesn't think the Big Apple is a good idea, though. Sir Charles says, Kevin, you're one of the greatest players I've ever seen. You've also got some of the thinnest skin I've ever seen. I don't know if you're made for New York City. I think that would be the toughest aspect. He's arguing with these teenagers online. He's not going to be able to deal with that New York media. He's a great person, a great player. I don't think he has the mental makeup to play in New York. That's just my personal opinion. Sir Charles never minces words. Shannon, your take on this one?
I think it would be difficult for him, Skip. KD wants to prove that he's more than the Golden State Warriors. Everybody criticized KD for joining this stacked team, 73-9 before he got there. KD's team, the OKC Thunder, had the 73-9 team down 3-1. and they come back and beat them, and then KD turns and joins the team. So going to New York, he would be thought of as a savior. He would need to prove that he can win a title somewhere else other than Golden State. You see, Skip, the thing about the New York media is there's more of them, and the paper, they have something that's very interesting. They have a page 6, and that's not all the positive. They don't really put the whole lot of positive things on that page. KD in New York.
New York Post.
Yeah. It's hard when you're 7 foot tall, Skip. Even though, there's 20 million people, you kind of stick out. And what KD needs to understand, because he's thought of as a savior, he gets there. When's the last time KD lost 8 games in a row? When's the last time KD, we went back, the last time KD lost 30 games in a season was 2014. He missed 55. So it's kind of hard, when you're not playing. Golden State, Skip, you go 67-15, you go 62-9, whatever.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, you 50-32, you 48-34.
You get a parade in New York for that right now.
Nah, not him. No. A lesser tier guy. Because remember, the best player is supposed to deliver. He needs to prove that he's more than the Warriors. That's what he wants to prove. That's what this is about. Because this was just about winning, Skip. You would never leave that situation. That's ideal. You got somebody, if you have an off game, you got 2 other guys that can go get 30, 40 and bring you home with a breeze. But he wants to prove, because Kevin Durant left for one particular reason, Skip. He left because he didn't want to, when they start talking about the best player that never won a title, Elgin Baylor, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing. Guess who else's name was in that category, Skip? Kevin Durant's. Now they can't say that. But they said, well, Kevin, yeah, you won, but look where you were. Do it here. I don't, Skip, like I said, and even though he gets into it, and Charles mentioned he gets into it with guys online, it doesn't affect his play. He might go back and forth with a reporter. It doesn't affect his play. It just makes him like, dude, that got you all riled up, caused you to get on a soapbox and say something because the guy said, you were a chump for joining the Warriors, or the guy said this or that someone's better, and that gets you riled up.
Yep.
I think it would be very difficult. But if anybody can do it, and difficult is one thing, as long as it doesn't affect his play on the court, I don't care.
But your gut feeling is he would struggle in New York.
Yes.
Right? My gut feeling is he would thrive in New York. I completely disagree with you and especially with Charles on his take, because Charles especially is missing the point. Kevin Durant is the ultimate contradiction. I'll agree with this. Charles said thinnest skinned I've ever seen. He is the thinnest skinned superstar in any sport I have ever closely observed. That's off the court.
Yeah.
On the court, he's as mentally tough as any player on big stage moments and games, as any player this side or since Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Well, that's my point.
Is.
On the court, no, he's still going to give you 30 and 6, but I'm saying you're going to see more. You're going to see more tweets. You're going to see more responses.
No, but it seems to fuel him.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it. Remember, he left Russell Westbrook after they had blown a 3-1 lead over these Golden State players, right?
Yes.
And he joins forces with those guys.
Right.
And he took as much heat and criticism and absolute downright ridicule as any NBA player has ever taken in the internet age.
Well, this Skip, you say he's mentally strong. Well, how mentally strong are you if a team that you have down 3-1, they come back and beat you and you join said team? Is that mental strength?
Okay, but his point was, I'll never be able to win with that guy as my primary decision maker and ball handler.
Okay, well,
I can't overcome that guy.
Okay, you don't have to stay with that guy, but go to another team that take that team down. You don't go join that team if you're as mentally strong as you say he is.
He was going into his 10th NBA season with 0 rings. And you just talked about guys who wind up with no rings. So now he's got not only 2 rings, he's got 2 finals MVPs. And he just might wind up with a 3rd ring right here, right now, even though he won't contribute much of any to it.
Let's just say, for the sake of argument, Skip, he goes to his hometown team, the Wizards, and he leads them to a title. Would one title with the Wizards have been more than those 2 in Golden State?
Well, sure it would. But when all is said and done and smoke clears and you look at his figurative epitaph from the NBA, he's got X number of rings and finals MVPs, and you it goes a little foggy in your memory. How did he pull that off? Oh, well, he did it.
Oh,
he
they
got
gonna,
him.
oh, Skip, because social media, they're gonna pull it up. Because every time you start talking about it, somebody's gonna pull up, yeah, but he joined this 73-19.
Okay, well, I'll give you the ultimate yeah, but. Yeah, but with the weight of the NBA world on his shoulders in the first go-round against LeBron, his first finals with the Warriors, he went to LeBron's house and he stuck it right in LeBron's face. I think the mantle got passed that night from LeBron to KD as best player on the planet because he shot the 3 of threes right in his mug, and that ended Game 3. And then he turned right around the next year and did the same thing to LeBron in his house in Game 3 and just decided the series right there. Well, those are big stage moments against what you said was the best player on the planet, and you're a made man in my eyes, man. You're up there. You're pantheon.
But let me ask you a question. At what point were the Cavaliers as good a team as the Warriors?
They had the best player on the planet.
Okay, they had the best player, but I'm saying team. This is a team game. This ain't golf. This ain't tennis.
They're really good.
Well, no.
They
really
should have won Game 1 last year at Oracle.
So let me ask you a question. When we chronicle and we go back and we said, however many it's been, so if you take the top 25 teams, finals teams that won this.
Okay, I got it. But did Kevin Durant crumble under that pressure? No.
Skip.
He thrived on it. He rose with it.
Okay, this is what we're going to find out.
Okay.
If he leaves Golden State,
All right,
we're going to
good.
find out what he's made of.
Now, the New York media.
Yes.
I think Charles and you, and sometimes me to a certain extent, we live in the past when we talk about the New York media because the internet has shrunk the New York media, because the internet has made it a global voice instead of the biggest media voice in this country.
So
in New York.
social media is bigger than New York media.
That's what I'm saying. And it's kind of defanged the New York media, where it's not that big a deal anymore. And I love all those guys because a lot of them are my friends.
Right.
But the point is, once upon a time, they were it.
Right.
They were the mecca not only of basketball at Madison Square Garden, but they were the media mecca.
Right.
You had to play the Palace if you wanted to be, thought of as top drawer media person.
Well, you'd fit right in. I don't know why you didn't work in the New York media.
Okay. Well, I lived in New York for 13 years. I was working for ESPN. Does that count?
No, I'm talking about right for one of the Post or the Daily News or one of them.
Okay. Well, I got offered once to go to the
Then what
Daily
happened?
News. I just didn't want to live there at that point. So, but I had my chance, but I didn't take it. Maybe I shrank from the pressure.
Yeah,
too much pressure.
what?
You know?
Oh,
Not true. Not true. There were extenuating circumstances. But the point is that it's not that bad anymore, because it can be just as bad in Oakland, California, because you have the national media, you have the voice of the internet coming down on you.
But you know what we've seen from Kevin Durant, Skip? Yeah, he lashed out at Chris Broussard, but it's normally Adam Farmer from Iowa. It's the kid that says something negative about Kevin Durant. Yeah, that's what normally ruffles his feathers.
I'm astounded by it.
Yes.
Like, what are you doing, Kevin? You're Kevin. What did he say to the media the other day? I'm Kevin Durant.
Right.
Well, I could say that. You're Kevin Durant.
Right.
You don't need to respond to that.
Right.
You're Shannon Sharpe. You don't need to respond to those people, but you do.
I do.
Okay. Well, then
But
you're being hypocritical.
No, Skip. No. I mean, but Skip, see, I don't know how well Kevin Durant communicates, because I engage. I've always engaged. I've always talked, hey, what you go blah, blah, blah with this and that. I got no problem with it, Skip.
Call him on it.
Now, for me, Skip, I look at myself like an ordinary person with an extraordinary job. And if I was in their seat and social media was available, man, I'd reach out and, hey, Kobe, what's up? Hey, Shaq, what's up? I would reach out and hope they would respond to me. I mean, I would like to think, and I'm not on that level. I'm not as big as Kevin Durant, but I think some people, like, man, Shannon Sharpe hit me back. Did you see Shannon? That means something to him. So that's how I am, Skip. But for KD, we're going to find out. We're going to find out what you can do without Steph and Klay.
Okay.
And Draymond,
Okay.
don't forget Draymond.
All right, but that's a different issue than can he handle the New York media. But can he carry the team by himself? That's a whole nother issue.
Whoa.
But that could be an issue in Portland.
What do you think the media's thinking? He's the savior. So they're going to want to know, where is the Kevin Durant? Why isn't Kevin Durant delivering? Because, Steph and Klay and Draymond's not coming.
Yeah.
So that's going to be one of the reasons. But people don't want to, Skip, you know how they work.
But everybody will be wondering the same thing at ESPN.com and Bleacher Report and The Athletic. all the national media sites are going to be wondering the same thing, and that will feel worse to Kevin maybe than the New York media feels.
But it's the ones that you see every day that you think they should have your back that's going to be asking them tough questions. Well, what happened last night, Kevin? We've seen you so many times in situations like this. You're able to deliver, and you hadn't delivered. You know how he is. I mean, y'all voted him MVP. And then he comes back the next year and says, y'all don't know bleep about basketball.
He said that.
The very people that get said that didn't know anything. So that might see, I told you, LeBron said.
Once upon a time, I was his biggest fan and defender. And one night he said, I don't know bleep about basketball because I was criticizing Russell Westbrook for shooting more shots than Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Kevin?
Well,
I'm your guy.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? You're biting the hand that's feeding you.
Yeah, that's what I said too.
Okay.
I was your biggest fan until you said I didn't belong in the Hall of Fame because I keep losing bets to you.
So now you've turned on me?
Yeah.
Oh, great. The bridge is burned.
Well, y'all
Great.
can debate whether
You're the one that
KD
said,
would fit in New
you're
York
in the Hall
all
of
day
Fame,
long.
but
I
you
tell
don't
you
win any
what,
bets.
after
Well,
17 wins for the
It
Knicks
is kind
last
of,
season,
it's a contradiction.
No, it's
they'd
not.
love if KD came there, that's for sure. Still to come, will Kawhi lead the Raptors to a big road win tonight
Oh,
in
now you
Golden
wanna-
State? We're going to discuss that up next.
No mercy.
Game 3 tonight, Oracle. We're joined now by FS1 NBA analyst, our old friend Chris Broussard. Good morning, Chris. We got
Yeah.
injury issues for the Warriors. Skip's predicting the Raptors. Who do you think takes
he's
this
not
one tonight?
predicting the Raptors. So break the tie.
Well, look, obviously, it all hinges on Klay Thompson, right? His availability. And you could be either optimistic or pessimistic from what he said yesterday.
Yeah.
Some of the things, I can't see myself not playing. Oh, he'll be out there. Then he says, if there's any pain, I'm not going to play because it's going to be a long series. I don't want to risk missing it all. It's hard to imagine there won't be any pain 72 hours after the injury occurred.
Right.
So, look, I don't know what you're going to get from Klay. Even if he plays, will he be effective? So without Klay, there's no logical reason to think Golden State's going to win.
Right.
However, I'm with Shannon. I got a hunch. I got a feeling. I don't know if I ate the wrong thing this morning or what, but I just feel like Golden State can pull this thing out. Obviously, for that to happen, Steph needs to be big. And I think he's going to come out. This could be his first playoff game ever without Klay. So you would think his mentality is going to be come out and gunsling. If I miss 12 threes, 15 threes, whatever, he's too good of a shooter, I think. He's had those nights, but I think he's going to hit some of them. So I think he comes out with a big attitude to just put it up. And then, look, Draymond Green is a gamer. And I think if Nick Nurse, any coach, would at least try the boxing one at times, because it worked at the end of game 2. So try it. Draymond wasn't attacking the boxing one the way he usually attacks the defense when he gets it. So I think tonight, if they try that, or heck, triangle 2, whatever they might try, I think he's going to be in attack mode. And Draymond, look, even though he's not a great scorer, remember Game 7 against Cleveland in 2016? When they lost, he had 32. He hit 6 for 8 threes. Like, I think Draymond is a gamer and will step up and play big. Boogie Cousins. I expect Boogie to play well. Like, obviously, he was great in Game 2. I think he could get 20 points or give or take a few. He's played well against bigs, like Jokic in Denver. He played well against him. I think he could play well against Gasol. Iguodala, another gamer. He had no business hitting that three. I know he was wide open, but he's not a great three-point shooter. But when he needs to, it's like Shaq on the free throw line, he always said. When I need to, I make them. So I think Iggy can play big. And then Quinn Cook. Quinn Cook is a legitimate three-point shooter.
He is.
41%.
I thought 42.
42
ahead.
career.
Yeah.
42 career, 40% this season. So he'll get more minutes, obviously. So look, maybe I'm just trying to rationalize my pick of Golden State in 6, but I'm going to go with them tonight.
I went with it for the simple fact that I think Klay is going to play and he'll play well. Because if I thought for 1 second Klay wasn't going to play, I would have picked the Raptors. But I believe he's going to play, and I believe Klay will play well. That boxing one worked because they didn't know it. I think now that they've seen it, they know what to do if they were to see it again. So I agree with you, Chris. I think they should sprinkle it in from time to time. It makes it a lot easier when you don't have another shooter on the court.
Right.
Because you can play zone. You will never play zone against this team if they had all 3 of their guys, let alone if they just have 2 of them, because both of those guys can shoot. Well, the guy that's not getting boxed can shoot over the top of it. So you sprinkle it in, and it makes it a lot easier to play that type of defense if there's no Klay on the floor. I agree. I believe Boogie will play well. He's played with a lot of confidence now. My biggest concern is not from 2 to 3, it's from 3 to 4, because you only have that day in between. So they'll play tonight, then they'll play again on Wednesday. But they're not worried about Friday. They're worried about tonight. And the question is, Iggy and these guys, these minutes, Toronto's got to make these guys play in the high 30s. You let these guys get off too easy playing 33, 34 minutes. You got to push them. Tax those bodies. Get it late into the ball game. Hell, if we need to, take it to overtime. You want to put minutes on those bodies that are aching, that's being held together with spit and glue. And if they can do that, they have a chance. But I'm going to take the Warriors in this game because I believe Klay will play, and he'll play well.
And I said Monday I'm taking Toronto, and I stick with Toronto, and I say Golden State will lose this game with or without Klay Thompson. I don't care if he plays 40 minutes or 0 minutes. Toronto will win tonight. Number 2 will have a huge game tonight.
So we got due on this one then.
We have no due on
Hold on. How you going to take Toronto? You say 2's going to have a big game.
What have I told you from the start? It's against my religion to bet on number 2. I just don't bet on him. But I can pick him without betting on him. He will go 35-13. He will have a big game because he's going to have a lot of help. Kyle Lowry always plays better on the road than at home, and he has been abysmal in games 1 and 2 at home because he feels the pressure of Raptor Nation on his shoulders, and he's crumbled under that pressure so many times before. He needs to get out from under it and get to Oracle, and he will hit 4 threes tonight and play bulldog defense. And the reason number 2 is going to rise and shine is if Klay tries to go, and I'm going to assume he'll try to go, but he is still wounded. And you know and I know, if you're wounded, you can play a little bit of offense, but you can't play much defense. He became a primary defender on number 2 in game 2. And it worked. It was pretty effective. The other primary defender, Andre Iguodala, is hurt beyond Klay or beyond number 2. He's got 3 things wrong that I know of because he badly turned his ankle before he ran into Gasol, the Man Mountain, the other night, and nearly knocked his head off. But he turned his ankle. He's got a calf. He's got an Achilles. He's got all sorts of injury things going on, and it restricts how he can defend number 2 because number 2 is a handful, supremely gifted and strong. Like naturally strong.
Oh, like you talk about the time that he knocked down Draymond and Bogut?
Yeah,
with
his elbow.
He's strong.
Country strong?
Yeah, he got him down.
I don't even think he's country strong. He's just strong. I think he's weight room strong.
And then he got an and one against Klay and Draymond, too. You remember that one, Skip?
Yeah, I do. I remember every play that he didn't make down the stretch, which is why he owes his team tonight because he should have won that game the other night. I'm going to say this one more time, back to your boxing 1 point. It really worked. And again, I told Shannon earlier, I'm going to tell you, Nick Nurse deserves far more credit than he's getting for suggesting to his team as soon as Klay went out, hey, you guys know what a boxing 1 is? And they all said they didn't know what it was because nobody's used it in recent memory in the NBA.
Not in the NBA.
No, not in the NBA. And he said, well, I bounced it off him, and I said, it's just kind of a box, 2 guys low, 2 guys high, and then Van Vliet, you're just going to chase Steph and face guard him the whole way.
Right.
And let's see if that'll work because they don't have the other shooter, right?
Right.
Because he was gone. It looked like he was gone for good because he dragged his leg off the floor. And it worked so much that Steph down the stretch, he played 8 minutes in the 4th quarter. He took no shots. He didn't even get a shot up. He didn't get to the free throw line. He was 0 for 0, and he had 0 assists.
Yep.
This is Steph Curry, a 2-time MVP, and you do that to him?
Well, look, I've playing through college. I've been in a boxing 1 where I was the guy chasing the offensive player.
Right.
And for a defensive guy, I mean, it's kind of fun because you don't have the other responsibilities.
Right.
All you got to do is
him.
run around and face, like he said, face guard him. And so you can hold a guy like that because that's all you have to do.
What else did Nick Nurse say yesterday how effective it was? Why else was it what? It takes all your backdoor cuts away because you got a stationary zone. So Golden State can't run all those slippery, slick little cuts. Draymond cutting off somebody. Klay backdoor. Klay was
passes
right?
And
you can't do it anymore because they're all stationary. Yeah. They're not going anywhere.
Well, the thing is that somebody that has the ball, they're going to have to drive and try to penetrate the defense to get them to come, and then you can kick the ball. But it worked because Steph's not there. who are your spot-up shooters?
That's Klay will.
That'll be Klay. Yeah. Who's going to do that? Andre is not a spot-up.
on Quinn Cook. Like
Right.
I said, he's going to have to be
Right.
big.
Okay, so the best defensive team I've seen in the playoffs is Toronto. And Toronto has to feel real good about itself because remember, game 2, it cut the lead all the way to 2 points. They're only down 2 with 26 seconds left. Now, back to the Golden State you're both picking. Last 5 playoff games they've played, they have trailed against Portland by 17, by 18, by 17. At Toronto, by 12, they trailed. Those are bad signs, man. You're running on empty. You're on fumes, psychological fumes, mental, physical fumes.
But
5th straight finals.
you said 5 games they've been down by double digits. What have they done?
They flurried back to win 4 of them with big bursts.
And
right?
I think they could do that. Again, I've said it. I think they coasted against Portland, knowing a surge here or there, we can get it. They can't do that, I don't think, consistently
can't.
against Toronto, especially if Klay's not healthy.
Right.
Then if they get down 12 tonight in the second quarter, it might be over.
Okay.
If Klay's not there.
Because you remember, Skip, it was Klay's hot shooting.
Right.
He had 11 points
Saved
in the
him.
first quarter.
Just
he had
saved
their
them.
first 9.
Saved
yes.
them from embarrassment.
Yes.
From
yes.
getting blown off
yes.
the map.
Yes.
Right?
So now he's not there.
And I'm going to remind both of you, at Oracle with Kevin Durant this year, they lost 6 games at home by 20-plus points, and they lost to the Clippers twice in the first round of the playoffs, once blowing a 31-point home lead. Something has been wrong with this team at home. I like Toronto. I am betting not a drop on number 2. Thank you.
You have to earn your due
You ought to
back
be-
some
you ought to be
other
ashamed.
way.
Why should I be ashamed?
You'll be ashamed. You go bet on the man. Don't bet on him.
If he leads them to these finals, you calling him Kawhi Leonard?
Yeah, you got to, Skip.
Are there
Skip, you got
any
to.
quit on my team.
No, Skip.
Any
He's not on my team.
circumstances
No.
where you'll call him that?
Skip, the man he'll be a Finals MVP.
Right, twice.
He
He
is-
got you a ring.
He is dead to me.
He
got
got your
you a
guys
ring.
a ring.
Strong words.
Can you imagine?
He didn't get us a ring.
Yes, he
Big
did.
question
MVP.
tonight.
He averaged
Is Steph
16
Curry's
points a game.
legacy
And
on
beat
the
up
line?
LeBron, held
Will
LeBron to
Broussard
40.
stick
Beat
around
up
with
Held
us?
him to 40.
They're going to go a little bit more on
LeBron
this
had
one in the
28
break,
points.
and we'll be back to discuss Steph after this.
No mercy. No mercy.
A lot of pressure on Steph Curry's shoulders tonight in Game 3. No Kevin Durant. Klay Thompson, game time decision. So far, Steph has been solid, you could say, in the first 2 games, averaging nearly 29 points. And of course, he's a big favorite to be named Finals MVP. Chris Broussard back with us. Chris, put some perspective into this conversation for us. How important is tonight to Steph's legacy?
I don't think we should overstate it because it's Game 3. If he's pretty good tonight, but then great the rest of the series, or if he's just not that good and they lose, but he's great the rest of the series and they win, I don't think we'll think about Game 3. If he's great tonight and then mediocre the rest of the way and they lose or win, what he did tonight isn't going to have a huge impact. So, look, if he's horrible tonight and then they go on to maybe lose the next few games and lose the series, then I think people may look at him a little differently. But it's only Game 3. There's so much basketball left to be played that I think we have to take that into consideration. This is an opportunity for him to add to the Steph lore, where the 40-point game in 2016, when he's right back from the knee injury against Portland.
Yep.
You know, the 36-point average against Portland in the last series, the 33-point second half against Houston. Like, this is an opportunity to have one of those nights that we remember when we're talking about Steph Curry in the future. However, I got to admit, like, I remember his second MVP season when he was unanimous MVP and was just lighting the world on fire. I asked a basketball legend, a basketball lifer who was a player, a coach, he's been everything. Everybody would know him. I don't want to say his name. I said, is Steph the best player in the world? He laughed at me because he was like, no, he's like, you hide him on defense. He can't control it on that side of the floor. And so my point is, I'm not looking at Steph to do what a LeBron James can do, even what a Kawhi Leonard or a Kevin Durant could do. Like, if Kevin Durant was in this situation where no Steph, no Klay, I still would feel like he might go, you know what I mean? Like, they got a chance, right? Or if it was LeBron or Kawhi. Because essentially, even without Klay and KD, you're talking about one superstar, Steph, against one superstar, Kawhi, and a bunch of good players around them, role players. And this shows why those guys probably are better than Steph. No matter what he does and his legacy and how great of a shooter he is and how many championships, he can't control it on the other side of the court. And I think some of it's size. Like, how many small players have ever been able to just control a series? Isaiah Thomas, obviously, the legend, was tremendous. He and Steph are the only two small guys to even lead a team to a championship.
Right.
But even when Isaiah was doing it, DeMar was great in those finals. DeMar he was Isaiah's Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
And he was
a finals MVP.
Right, he was a finals MVP the first year they won it. So he was always great there. Allen Iverson, we saw him do it for a game against Shaq and Kobe when they won game one, but never won a title, obviously. So I don't know if some of it's size, the defensive liabilities, but I just don't expect him to be able to take over the game like I would expect a KD, a LeBron, or a Kawhi Leonard to do.
You stole all my points because this is my exact same
Good, then
thing.
I'll talk.
You know what? For real, though. No, I mean, just to echo what he said, because I don't think it's that big of a deal because it's game 3. And there's more series to play, and he can play bad, and they can still recover. But if he plays like a goofball, and then they turn around and lose this
There
series,
you go with that goofball again.
we're gonna remember this game. But the only thing I want to push back on, this notion that Steph Curry has been small in the playoffs or the finals is not true.
It is true.
I want to track. No, I tracked it. So what I did, I didn't want to go back to when he first got into the league. They didn't make the playoffs and all that. I went back to when he first made the playoffs, the 2012-2013 season.
Yep.
In the regular season, this is what he's averaged: 25.6, 7 assists. In the NBA Finals, he's averaged 25.6 and 6 assists. He dropped off a cliff. Go ahead, Skip.
And you said he's got a higher scoring average in the finals than what? Bird,
Kobe, and D-Wade.
Every key number I have on my list in his career, regular versus post, the playoffs are a little down in every category. So he hasn't played like a 2-time MVP in the playoffs. And maybe that's because playoffs dictate
in the finals or the playoffs?
Playoffs.
The whole playoffs?
Yep. And I still can't get over the games 5, 6, and 7 against your man in 2016. That was horrendously bad. And again, in those 3 games, he shot 37% from the field and 36% from 3. He's like a 50% three-point shooter, and that was a dramatic fall. And then we get all the way to game 7, and he shot 6 for 19 in his house. This is it. This is for your legacy. And he was 4 of 14 from 3, and we get to the fourth quarter with the game on the line, and he goes 1 of 6 from the field and 1 of 5 from 3, and has the crucial turnover where he whips it behind his back, 4th row. That really opened the floodgates for your guys to have the bicycle built for 2 block and the chase down, right?
Yeah.
And finally,
that was player of the year, if I'm
Kyrie
not mistaken.
ended that. Yeah, Kyrie ended that game. So tonight, to me, is the biggest game of Steph Curry's career because Klay Thompson is either not going to play at all, to your point, first time ever that he would be without Klay, or Klay is going to be somewhat limited. He's just going to be limited, especially on defense, maybe even on offense. This is his night to rise and shine. This is his series to take over because we will see some box and one. So you have to say, I got this. I'm going to destroy the box and one because they won game 2 in spite of Steph Curry. That was a pretty miserable performance by his standards.
He wasn't very good.
He wasn't very good. And then again, I'm going to say it one more time. If you play 8 minutes down the stretch, you go 0 for 0 from the field, 0 for 0 from the line, and from the 5:37 mark down to 7 seconds, you go 8 straight possessions without scoring a point. Your team does, and you're the point guard, and you have 0 assists in the whole fourth quarter. He's getting a pass that nobody has leaped on that, and the reason he's getting a pass is because they survived without him, right? They survived because Andre Iguodala, a 33% three-point shooter, said, I got this. Because when the money's on the table, that guy's going to do it. When the money was on the table, what was the first finals?
2015 when they won. 2015.
Yeah. And again, you and I have gone back and forth. He turned the whole series around on defense and on offense. And you say, well, Steph's numbers say he should have been the MVP, but in impact, Iggy should have been MVP. Just in defense, offense, impact. It was LeBron's series to win. Remember, Game 4 is in LeBron's house. They're up 2-1. I thought he was going to do it. I thought he was going to put his team on his back with no Kevin Love and no Kyrie and just take them home because he was on. That was the best I've ever seen LeBron play for 3 games. Did he run out of gas? I don't know what happened, but he shot 7 of 22 when they put Iggy on him, and they'd done it a little bit at the end of Game 3, but Game 4, Iggy took him out of that game. So he deserved to be MVP. So Steph doesn't even have one MVP to his credit. And tonight, he has an opportunity with no Kevin Durant. And this is just me. Heart of hearts, gut feeling, I believe Steph Curry does not want Kevin Durant to return because he can finally make a statement once and for all. I can do it without that guy.
But let me ask you this, Skip. Let's just say for the sake of argument, he drops 45 in Game 3 and they lose. What does that change in people's minds?
Okay, but you would think if he drops 45, they're going to win that game. That's what I would think.
It still would be tough,
yes.
even if he has 45. If nobody else steps up, I'm picking
Golden State
because I'm thinking Draymond and
if I could
Cousins will
guarantee
play well
Steph's
too.
going to have 45, you'd say, I got this by 15.
I wouldn't say that.
No.
If he has 45 and Draymond and Boogie don't play well or Quinn Cook can't hit a 3, they could still lose.
Hey, the impact of his 45 points, that's the one thing I disagree with whoever the Hall of Famer was that you talked. His 3-point impact is so severe, especially at home, where he's revolutionized the game and the impact of that shot because he shoots them from 10 feet beyond the line.
Right.
And now you got more guys
That's what I'm
copying
saying. But at Oracle, it feels like the ceiling falls in on the visiting team when he makes 4 of those 30-foot shots.
I do agree his impact on the game for his team and just the league and the game itself has been incredible. But for some reason, I feel like he needs other guys. He needs some help, though. Like, again, I don't like what LeBron did in 2015, just taking over with Matthew Dellavedova and all these.
Okay.
I don't see Steph being able to do that. Even though he has arguably more impact on the game than LeBron when his team is around him.
Hey, when
Because
he's
of the
going,
right.
he has huge impact.
But we've
It's
never seen
psychological.
that without Klay and Draymond.
We have not.
Now, maybe he'll show something tonight that I haven't seen.
And by the way, you do have to, quote unquote, hide him on defense, but that year he won the unanimous MVP, he led the league in steals. So you got to give him that.
He
right?
gets steals, and he's a smart and willing defender.
he
He tries, right.
Okay.
But I just don't. And I think a lot of people, like you're saying, Skip, if they win this championship and he doesn't get the Finals MVP, a lot of people will hold that against him. So I think he needs it for the naysayers, but I do think Finals MVPs are overrated. I mean, Kareem only won 2 out of his 6 championships.
Okay, but this is it. This is his opportunity to shine.
Yeah, with no KD, he has to win it.
He just played the greatest stretch of his career, Steph did, in the last quarter and the last game against Houston, Game 6, and then those 4 against Portland. Yeah. I've never seen him play better at a higher level than in those sort of 5 1/4 games.
And he was good in Game 1, even though they lost in the finals.
Got it. Now, this is it. They're a little shorthanded, if not a lot shorthanded. And if they win the game tonight, they could break Toronto's will because Toronto hasn't done this before, even though they got playoff experience. But if Steph just shoots them right in the heart tonight, then all of a sudden you can say, put Kevin on the back burner, right? We don't really need Kevin in Game 4. Well, if Steph takes over Games 3 and 4, well, he's on course to run away with Finals MVP. He's the favorite now, right? So this is his moment. Rise or fall, sink or swim.
But Draymond and Boogie lurking, though.
Okay.
No, like, look, if I had to pick Golden State's MVP right now, I would give it slightly to Steph because of Game 1, he was really good, even though they lost. But Draymond would be right there.
Okay, so tell me this.
Draymond would be
if
right
Steph Curry tonight does exactly what he did in Game 2, 6 of 17 and 3 of 10 from 3, who wins the game?
Toronto.
Okay. Thank you.
agree.
So that's how big a deal this is for Steph Curry.
He needs to be big.
This is his night.
It's just more
And
games
again,
to be
we
played.
heard that Kevin yesterday, according to Steve Kerr, is ramping up his rehab.
I'm watching Kevin walk, and he ain't ramping up nothing. He look like he need a ramp to get up a step,
Maybe.
a pair of stairs,
Okay,
stairs or
I'll
something.
buy that, which is why I think Steph needs, he in his heart of hearts, he doesn't want Kevin to come back now because he knows that the public viewed it as he just said no mas after they blew the 3-1 lead. He publicly said, we need that guy, right?
But I don't think he's like that because I think if he was like that, he wouldn't have wanted KD in the first place.
Well,
right?
Why would you? If you're that guy, if this is your town and your team, why would you want to go get another?
But that's what I'm saying. So if he wanted him in the first place, you're saying now all of a sudden he's like, nah, I don't want him back.
Okay, but
he's had a change of heart.
What he's hearing is that, yeah, KD joined, but KD got you guys over the hump because you weren't going to beat Cleveland without him. And everybody's looking like, well, dude, you the unanimous MVP, and you get out of your nice car and ride in the passenger seat to let KD drive?
Right.
Well, he did.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
I mean,
okay.
Although he was their leading scorer this year.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
Yeah. Okay, but this is the time. This is the final.
Yeah, this is it.
Okay, let's see.
Because even though I will admit this, his numbers in the finals are great. So he has played well.
Yeah.
He doesn't disappear like a lot of people say. But he hasn't had a ton of takeover moments.
Yeah,
in the finals.
Impact game. Because the game he scores 30, Kevin Durant has 35.
Right.
Or the game he scores 20, Kevin Durant has 32. Or LeBron James has one of those historic. So you're like, damn, Steph played well, but.
Or even this series, he's averaging, 29?
Yeah.
But he wasn't very good in games.
Okay, what do you have him tonight? Steph Curry has what? You got Golden State.
I got Golden State. I would say you have I'll say 28, 7, and 8.
Okay, I think he needs more than that if you guys are going to be right.
I think he needs 30+ to win.
Yeah.
For him to win.
With or without Klay? Or either
way.
or.
Okay, because you think Klay's going to play and play well.
Yeah.
If Klay plays well, then 28 is enough. Yeah.
Chris, thank you so much for being here again with us. Always a pleasure. One Baton Rouge guy to another. Odell Beckham Jr. Is he finally going to find some happiness in Cleveland? That's up next.
No mercy.
Odell Beckham Jr. was with his new team at the first day of mandatory minicamp yesterday. Beckham skipped most of the Browns' voluntary workouts back in April. And at that time, Freddie Kitchens said Beckham had missed a lot on offense. Yesterday, however, Coach changed his tune a little. Take a listen.
It's voluntary, guys. All right? It's voluntary. You guys take comments that I make last week and turn it into something other than what the comment actually meant. I was looking forward to seeing Odell. I truly was. I'm not going to you. I really was. He missed a lot. He understands that. But he didn't really miss as much as you really think because he's been studying every night just like these other guys. He just hadn't been here. All right? He felt it more compatible for his body to get in good shape and be at the best that he could be when he got here. All right? Would I have liked him here? Yes. No doubt about it. I want everybody here. But he doesn't have to be here. It's voluntary. Tony didn't show up to the unveiling of the when they announced the Super Bowl. It was voluntary, right, Tony? Was it voluntary?
It was training.
So he didn't show. So what? I don't know what the definition of voluntary is if it's not voluntary. So that answers all y'all's questions, right?
Skip, you're the king.
Doesn't answer mine.
Calling a flip or a flop. What do you make of that?
So let's get this straight. The good news yesterday, the huge news for the Cleveland Browns was that Odell Beckham Jr. actually showed up for mandatory minicamp. So that's huge that Odell actually went way, as he calls that, out there to Cleveland, and he graced the Browns with his practice presence, even though it was required, but I didn't even know if he'd show up for required practice, right?
Is he going to be back today?
Okay, I doubt it. I'm going to doubt that. But a week ago, as you point out, when Odell failed to show for non-mandatory minicamp, Freddie Kitchens was asked about what had Odell missed. And he was very blunt and short with it. He just said, a lot. The offense, period, close quotes. The offense, he missed the whole offense. Right. And Freddie was steamed about it a week ago. Right. Something happened between then and now because yesterday, it was interesting because all of a sudden Freddie Kitchens is taking the media to task for, I don't know, taking last week's comment out of context or reading between the lines, reading too much into it.
Or taking for something more than what it was meant.
Okay, so yesterday he says, first of all, let me get my sheet out here, that you guys take comments that I made last week and you turn it into something other than what the comment actually meant. He said he missed the offense. That means he missed the whole installation of everything.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
I don't know. How can I misinterpret that? How can I overreact? You said he missed everything, and it was very clear and blunt.
What did he miss?
Boom.
The offense.
Right? He missed the offense. And I love that quote because that's exactly what he thought.
Okay.
Which leads to my favorite quote of the NFL offseason that we just heard from Freddie Kitchens. He said, okay, he did miss a lot last week. He understands that. But he didn't really miss as much as you guys think because he's been studying every night just like these other guys. Odell Beckham Jr. has not studied any nights. That's my humble estimation from a distance, but I don't believe he's studied his new playbook one night of the offseason. I could be wrong. Maybe you disagree with me, but I don't think, heck, I don't believe Shannon Sharpe, as studious as he can be, I don't think he was studying his playbook in the offseason. I'm sorry. Nobody's going to stay up at night. I can see Odell. He's on some bed in Paris. I don't know where he is. He's somewhere, and he's thumbing through the play. Well, that's an interesting play. I don't think he's doing that.
Only Tom Brady would do something like that, Gene.
Okay? That is correct.
No, stop.
That is correct.
Maybe
Thank
Drew
you for
Brees.
bringing that up. Maybe Drew Brees would do that. I will buy.
You know what, Skip?
Okay, but look, here's the point. Here's the bottom line.
Okay.
Odell can be a very sensitive young man, as we know. I believe that Odell made it clear, quietly, to Freddie Kitchens that he did not love the shot that Freddie took a week ago. And I think that Freddie Kitchens is now basically admitting publicly he has the power in this organization right now, which is why I believe Freddie Kitchens is going to feel like he's in Hell's Kitchen this year with this football team because he's not really in charge of it. In the end, Odell's going to do whatever Odell wants to do.
Can I change my pick to the Steelers?
Do you want to?
No.
Okay.
No,
I give you the right.
No.
Okay.
You're going to say, see, I told you, Jay, he flop it again.
Flopadamus. Yep.
Skip, this is the problem with Odell. Because ever since he's been in the NFL, coaches have sent him a mixed signal. Now, 1 minute they're upset that he didn't show up for OTAs, voluntary OTAs. Skip, like I said, I didn't go. When I was in Baltimore my second year, I didn't go to voluntary OTAs. I knew the offense, but I did go the first year. For me, Skip, now some people, I needed to hear the verbiage. I needed to have I needed to hear the offensive coordinator call it, then the quarterback come in the huddle. I needed to hear it. And then I needed to run it, Skip, because I needed to know where everybody was. I needed to know where X was going to be, where Z was going to be, where the slot receiver was going to be. I needed to see, and then I needed to get my movement. How was I going to move, Skip? I can't get that looking at a sheet. Okay, two-jet flanker drive. Okay, we're up here, go across there. He's doing this. I can't get that without being there. Skip, this is his first year. Don't you want to start off on a positive foot? Don't you want to show the people the Odell that y'all saw in the Giants making up? This is how it came to be. See me on the practice field. See how I prepare meeting rooms. That's what this is about. I get it. It's voluntary, which says it's not required. But I just believe in your first year, you're learning a new offense. You're learning a new defense. You probably should be there. And you want to, because just like they saw all those great plays that you made, they also saw that other behavior, too, that you displayed up in New York.
That's correct.
And so you want to dispel that. That's not me. That guy, I left that guy there. The guy that's here now in Cleveland, this is the guy that you're going to see moving forward. But Freddie, just stand by it. Look, I understand that it's voluntary, but this is a new offense. Odell Beckham has never played in this offense as great as he is. Because if that's the case, Skip, if he can study away, why the hell he need to practice? He can just stay at home, see you Sunday, study your plays, go play. You wouldn't allow anyone to do that.
There's this thing called rapport that you develop with your new quarterback, and you only do it by throwing and catching with each other, right?
It's like I said, he's his first year in this offense. If this was an offense, Skip, he was familiar with, I had no problem. If Freddie Kitchens at some point in time coached him in New York, he was familiar with this offense, I got no problem with that, Skip. But this is a brand new offense. And don't you want to set an example for your new teammates to say, you know what, that guy that you heard about, the guy that I know you heard about it, and some of the antics that you actually saw for your very own eyes, that guy no longer exists. Man, they just different now, Skip. They just different.
So Freddie also moonwalk all the way back to that Odell felt it more compatible for his body to get in good shape and be at his best he could be when he got here. So he's saying he could work out by himself on his own, which is sort of the Shannon Sharpe method, right?
Yes.
But to your point, You're with a brand new team,
Skip.
brand new place that you say is way out there.
So what the hell Odell been doing? He missed the last 4 games. So he had all January, February, March, and April. So what the hell he was doing? He needed an extra 2 weeks?
Man, I don't know. I like the Steelers, personally.
I don't know. At some point in time, I might have to come over there with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like what they're building in Pittsburgh. I like their new unity.
Oh, you like that, huh?
No AB there, Odell here. I think I got no AB's team. That's just me.
Okay.
Well, guys, OBJ expected to be there today and expected to talk to the media after practice.
Oh, it's going to be very interesting to hear what he has to say.
Maybe he will answer some of these questions. Up next today, though, NBA champ JaVale McGee is here. We'll get his take on the finals, the Lakers, and much more coming up.
No mercy.
Our next guest is a 2-time NBA champion with the Warriors. And this season, he averaged a career-high 12 points per game with the Lakers. JaVale McGee, thanks so much for getting up and being with us here on Undisputed.
Early.
You've got a star-studded charity softball tournament coming up. Tell us a little bit about that. Who's going to be there and what does it benefit?
June 22nd, Jug Life Celebrity Game. It's a celebrity charity game. We have YG coming. We have Anthony Anderson coming. The teams are going to be me versus Lonzo Ball's team, so it's going to be pretty good.
Nice.
I want to challenge you guys. I'm inviting you guys to come June 22nd, so you guys can come knock it out the park.
And where is it here?
It's gonna be where the Galaxy play in Carson at the Dignity Health Sports Park.
Okay.
And my charity is Jug Life Foundation, and we build water wells in Uganda. And we also go around schools in the inner city and teach kids the importance of drinking water and staying healthy. So it's just something I'm really passionate about, and I really just can't wait.
Very
for
cool. So speaking of health, you were still close to many of the Golden State Warriors. You obviously won 2 rings with the Warriors. You attended Game 2 in Toronto. So we need your insight and your inside view of, do you expect Klay to play tonight, if at all? And do you expect KD to play at all in this series before it's over?
I don't know if I expect KD to play in this series, but for Klay, me knowing Klay as a friend of Klay, like, he doesn't like missing games at all. So I think he would go out there and try it out, if anything. If it's that bad, he'll still try it, and if it doesn't work, he just won't play. But I don't think he's going to miss a finals game.
Okay. You don't think KD is going to make it back?
I don't know if he's going to make it back, but this game, I don't think he's going to make it back. It's definitely possible.
Well, he's ruled out tonight for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So game 4 or 5 is definitely possible because KD is an athlete and he's a competitor. So I know he's sitting on the sideline biting his nails like I'm supposed to be out there. So he wants to come back. So I don't know.
Do you have any insight about how bad is it? A calf strain or tear? Or
I know all the information about the injury that you guys know.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, social media know more about everything that I know.
Okay. But you do know their mindsets.
Yeah, definitely. I know exactly what their mindset is, and that's to win. That's what it's always been. And they're definitely going to go out there and give it their all, even if they don't have Klay or KD. And they're saying, like, it's going to be hard for Golden State if Klay and KD don't play, but don't forget about that boy Steph. Don't forget about what he can do. He might be licking his chops like, oh, they're not going to play.
Big night.
Well, got to get some shots up now.
Okay.
So,
all right.
How big of a role would Draymond play? Because Draymond is still there. Draymond is really the engine that drives it.
Exactly. He's the nucleus of it all. I mean, the only way Klay gets shot is Draymond passing it to him. Steph gets shots, he's running around and Draymond's passing it to him. So Draymond is definitely the glue that keeps everything together. I feel like it would be a bigger impact if Draymond didn't play, if certain players didn't play. So he's definitely the gut of the team that's really running the engine.
Skip want to know what happened. I'm sure he wanted to ask you. Go ahead and ask him about that incident between Draymond and KD.
Oh, well, I don't know.
No, go ahead. No, you frame it better than I can.
Well, they got into it because KD is clapping for the basketball. Do you know this incident early in the year?
I do.
Okay. And then over on the bench, they really got into it, and it went so far as Draymond saying, "We don't need you," and he called him a bad word, called him the B word. And Draymond can be over-emotional, as you know, and he can get his anger up pretty quickly, and it flared, and I don't know if the bridge got burned. What's your gut on those two?
So the relationship with KD and Draymond is extremely strong, and from the outside looking in, you're looking like, oh my goodness, how could he do this? How could he do that? But from being on the inside, like, they're brothers. Like, brothers argue and say stuff they don't really mean all the time in the heat of the moment. And Draymond's a real emotional guy, so he's really gonna say what he wants to say, even if it's not how he really feels, just to prove a point.
But sometimes you say something and you just can't take it back.
Yeah, that does happen, but they all know what they're really there for, and that's to win games, win championships, and to play together as brothers and get more championships. So they brushed that off their shoulders.
Okay, so gut feeling, Kevin Durant will play where next year?
I don't know. I'm here in New York, but the way that things are shuffling right now, Kyrie wants to go to Brooklyn, and it's just so many things that could happen. Where is AD gonna go? So it's so many things that could happen.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of AD, you were in the middle of a Lakers team that got rocked by the rumors of that trade. How badly did it affect the kids on your team who were rumored to be going to New Orleans?
So in everyone's defense, when I was younger, and I think I got traded my first time was Washington to Denver, when the rumors were going on, I was flustered, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's a hard thing to deal with, especially if you've never been traded, and especially if you're in LA. Like, you're going from LA to New Orleans, that's a life change. So
it's still a great place.
No, I'm not saying it's not a great place
at
all, but it's definitely a life change when this is all you know is LA. So I would be shook if that was my intention, especially the way social media is now. You can't open your phone without seeing, oh, I might go here, I might go here. The internet was finding out information before we even knew the information, which is crazy now. But, I mean, it definitely shook things up a little bit, but the young guys fought through it at the end after it was all said and done and came back.
Did it hurt your basketball team for a while?
I don't think that alone hurt our basketball team. I mean, injuries hurt our basketball team. So I feel like if nobody get injured, we wouldn't even be talking about this. You get what I'm saying? Like, we would be in the playoffs if no one got injured, so that wouldn't have affected anything.
So you were 20-14 on Christmas Day. Mm-hmm. You're sitting fourth in the West.
Exactly.
And your best player went down. For the first time in his career, he went down and out for a long time,
exactly.
LeBron James. If that hadn't happened, how far could you have gone then?
I feel like we definitely could have made it to the Western Conference Finals and met up with the Warriors. I just feel like the way that he got injured and the way that our whole season we never got to mesh and blend. Two of our players got suspended in the beginning for a fight. Like, we never really, our starting five really never got to be a starting five and figure each other out. The way you see the way Golden State they know exactly what's going to happen. We know what we have to do. The bigs know we have to set screens for Klay and Steph. Draymond's going to stay at the top and he's going to pass it to Klay or Steph or find somebody at the rim. That's just what it is. We didn't get a chance to mesh and figure out what we can do.
Skip says LeBron is, on his last legs.
I didn't say last legs. I said 2 more good years.
No. He on his last legs. How good is LeBron?
I don't think people understand how good LeBron is and what, like.
Why don't you just slide on over there?
No. Let the man talk. The man,
It's not even like that type of aspect. Like, I've seen his workouts. I've seen him coming back from a calf injury and his first practice back. I mean, not a calf injury, a groin injury. Mm-hmm. And his first practice back from a groin injury, he dunks it as hard as he can. I'm like, bro, like, calm down. This is your first day back. Like, but his work ethic, his treatment, everything that he's done, the way that he takes care of his body is inspirational, truthfully.
Okay, so how much help does he need next year? What does he need to get over the hump and be a championship contender?
I feel like he only needs, especially with the young guys that he has right now, he just needs one all-star to add to his roster, and he can at least make it to the Western Conference Finals.
You coming back to the Lakers?
I mean, hopefully. I mean, that's definitely a possibility, but right now, obviously, I'm a free agent, so I don't really know, but I mean, I love LA. LA was beautiful for me. I had my best averages, and my best season. It's playing alongside LeBron, and even my career high game, LeBron had 10 of the assists were from LeBron. That's kind of crazy if you really think about it. So I mean, it's definitely a blessing being able to play for LA, but I mean, whatever is the best opportunity for me personally, I'm going to take it.
Because you want to be, because once you got a role, I mean, you got an opportunity to start, you got an opportunity to play major minutes.
Exactly.
This is the first time you played these type of minutes.
It's not the first time, but
in a long time.
Right. It's the first time.
Right.
Definitely. And I feel like I really proved myself this year to where I'm still a competitive, elite shot blocker. And just the things I can do, you can't really teach, especially just being a 7-footer who can really run up the floor, run up and down the floor at the speed I do and the athleticism I do, and not afraid of athletes coming at the rim trying to dunk. Like, I'm not worried about getting dunked on. I'm a shot blocker. That's what's supposed to happen. Right. So I just think that's something you really can't teach.
Yeah.
I thought it also hurt for you guys losing Lonzo as long as you did.
We lost him damn near the whole season.
Okay.
Lonzo is one of the most underrated defensive point guards. Like he's extremely underrated. Like when he was playing the way he would 94 feet pressure somebody. Come on, man. Like, and he just the court vision. Like it's just playing along Lonzo and LeBron too, and Rondo coming off the. Come on, man. It was beautiful when everything was clicking and then people got injured.
Did you think Lonzo and LeBron clicked okay?
Yeah, definitely. I think Lonzo definitely looked to LeBron and saw the leadership that LeBron was bringing, and it helped Lonzo's game also, but unfortunately he got injured, so it kind of stifled everything.
Well, you know, to get that all-star, you're probably going to have to give up some of that young nucleus.
That's true. I feel like that's what the Lakers are afraid of, is having to give up too much for a player like AD or whoever wants to come to the Lakers.
Well, they hope if they can get somebody via free agency,
there it is.
You don't have to give up that.
There it is.
But the likelihood of that happening, you're probably going to have to break some of that core up.
I think people are overanalyzing how easy it would be to get someone to come to LA. Like,
that was before they found out that what's going on up at the top.
That's cool, but you got to think about it. Like, if things happen all the time, it's just magnified in LA. Like, if all this was happening in OKC, no one would say nothing just because it's not as big as a market as LA. Okay. If up top, if things were happening to the players, yeah, but up top, like, no one would be worried about it. But people are worried about it because it's Magic, one of the best basketball players ever. It's the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? So everything's just magnified.
75 games played with the Lakers, 62 starts. Excited to see where you end up next season.
He said you don't know how good LeBron is.
He said that. He said you don't know how good Lonzo is.
No, he said defense.
Thank you for your time, JaVale. And if folks want to come to your charity tournament, juglifewater.com.
That's where it's at.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll be back in just a minute.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you.
No mercy.
The Raptors now 3 wins away from their first NBA title, but it will be led by Kawhi Leonard, not DeMar DeRozan, who played 9 seasons in Toronto before getting traded to the Spurs last summer. DeRozan said yes, he's rooting for his best friend Kyle Lowry and the Raptors in the finals, but not gonna lie, it's hard watching from the sideline. DeRozan added, if it wasn't for all the years and groundwork that I did before then, none of those things would have been possible. Yes, I fought, I sacrificed, I pushed the limits to where I had to be the sacrificial lamb. Strong words. Shannon, do you think DeMar has a point there, though?
He does have a point, Skip. He deserves some credit because he's one of their star players that chose to stay as opposed to leave. Remember Vince Carter? He left. Tracy McGrady? He left. Chris Bosh? He left. He stayed. And when Toronto really had nothing but DeMar DeRozan, and then they got Kyle, they paired those guys together. But the Masai Ujiri understood that with DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, Skip, they had a ceiling. And the ceiling was the Eastern Conference Finals. That was as far as they're going to go. And when he says he's the sacrificial lamb, he was the piece that San Antonio wanted if they wanted to receive Kawhi Leonard. Now, they rolled the dice because there's a good chance better than 50-50, that Kawhi leaves. But if you win the title and Kawhi leaves and you have to give up DeMar DeRozan, how many fans in Toronto will be upset? Sometimes that's what it has to be, Skip. Sometimes you have to sacrifice something good to get something better. And Masai Ujiri was willing to roll the dice and says, I appreciate everything you've done while I was here and before I arrived here. But the opportunity to get Kawhi Leonard, a show-enough bona fide superstar that when he's healthy, he's a top 3 player, we can't pass that up. even at the risk of losing him after 1 year.
I'm sorry, I have zero sympathy for
Man, come
DeMar
on,
DeRozan. Zero sympathy. He should just let this go and let this be.
It's hard. He said it's hard.
He left his heart in Toronto. He's in a better place right now. He's with an even better, I think Toronto has a great organization, but he's in an even better organization. He should thank his lucky stars. He's a San Antonio
with an even less chance of going to the NBA Finals.
Okay, but I'm not buying this narrative that somehow he was the cornerstone player who made it possible through all his hard work for Toronto this year to reach the NBA Finals. Baloney. It had nothing. It's an apple to an orange, or I should say an orange to an apple.
Well, they both fruit, and they go in the fruit basket.
Okay, they both, it had zero to do with it. I'd be the first to admit number 2 is a much better basketball player than DeMar DeRozan.
Too much is.
Now, I'm stuck with DeMar DeRozan in
Oh,
San
now
Antonio.
you stuck. Now you stuck.
Well, I'm sorry, I am. I'm stuck with him, and I never liked him because he was part of that dynamic duo in Toronto that in the playoffs became a ceramic duo.
Yes.
They were ceramic because they had fragile psyches that just splashed everywhere.
There
right?
was the ceiling.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here's where he became the sacrificial lamb. He was the best player that Toronto could offer in order to acquire the services of Kawhi Leonard. Without DeMar DeRozan, who are they going to? Greg Popovich and R.C. Buford looking like, okay, there's no DeMar DeRozan. You gonna trade Kyle Lowry and Siakam for Kawhi?
You just, they were stuck. They did the best, they took the best deal on the market they could find as long as it wasn't in the West. They had to go east.
Correct.
And they said, okay, DeMar DeRozan, he's a star. He's just not a superstar.
Right.
And he did a lot of good things for San Antonio this year. But when it comes crunch time, when you got to really depend and trust, no.
But he ain't Kawhi.
He's not that guy.
You know the Kawhi.
I don't trust that guy
Yeah,
either.
you should have.
Yeah, but that guy is more gifted than this guy is.
But just imagine, Skip, with this roster that you had, if you had Kawhi, there's a very good chance in the NBA Finals would be coming out of San Antonio.
Except that was last year.
This year,
that was last year. Last year, that team was poised to make a deep run.
Let me ask you a question.
A finals
this
run,
year,
to win it all.
This year, with the way Derek White and all these guys, these young guys, you told me they rise and shine.
They didn't have DeJounte Murray.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. But if you add Kawhi in this mix, with LaMarcus doing, because LaMarcus, you don't think they could have, without KD at Golden State? Woo, Skip.
Okay.
Now I'd hit it every day. I'd have had to hear this every day about San Antonio.
You want to know who the real sacrificial lambs were? It was last year. It was
stop.
Ginobili and Parker. They were
no,
sacrificed so that this guy could quit his way out of San Antonio.
No.
They got sacrificed. They're the lambs who got sacrificed.
Skip, that means no.
Because they were at the end of the line. They both had enough left to help carry that team to the finals.
Skip, it hurts more if you really, look, if I don't really care about the job and I get fired, I don't care. I'm showing up late half the time anyway. I'm spending half my time in the water cooler talking about somebody else behind their back anyway. But when you really love something, Skip, he loved Toronto. Think about it. All the other great players, their 3 best players that was in Toronto in their prime, they left. He stayed.
Okay.
I'm not talking about getting Akeem Olajuwon in year 17.
And it got Toronto where?
No,
it got him swept.
That's what it got
him.
I
got him swept.
I get it, but see, he could have. He's like, you know what? He could have did what they did to him. He's like, we're not gonna win here, but he said, but I want to try. The first chance they got to get out from up under him, whoop, gone. Players, see, that's what I'm talking about, players.
Okay.
Get your money. Leave when you want to leave and go somewhere else. Because what did Toronto do, Skip? They felt they could do better. They went and got a better player.
Yep.
So players, if you feel you can go somewhere else and win, or AD beating them to the punch.
Yeah, you know what number 2's about to do? He's about to leave Toronto high and dry.
But if he win them a title, would they be upset?
You know what? All that matters is he got them to the finals, and it was worth the try. It was a good deal for Toronto.
He
I give
might
you that.
win them that title.
Okay, he just might.
Yeah,
I don't think he will. But
he might.
He's going to win them game 3. I know that.
We're going to get your predictions on game 3.
Here we go.
Coming up next. We'll be back in just a minute.
No mercy.
Time for our final topic of the day. We are about 9 hours away from tip-off tonight at Oracle. Game 3 between the Raptors and Warriors. We know Kevin Durant is out, but the big question, will Klay Thompson play? Game time decision with that injured hamstring. Shannon, you've predicted Kawhi will get at least 30 points, but what's the overall final score tonight?
Got the Warriors in a very close ball game.
Did you?
Hey, I got 114 to 110 Warriors.
Ooh, wow. Wow, Jen, look at my score right there. Can you see that?
Was he
close
cheating
enough.
off you, or were you
You
cheating
might
off
have.
him?
Except mine's reversed.
Yeah.
I got 115, 110 visiting team. Now, what are your logical reasons or illogical?
Well, I think the Warriors are going to come out on fire. That crowd's going to be raucous. They hadn't been Golden State hadn't played there in a long time. The last 2 games, they won on the road in Portland. The first 2 games, they opened this series, they're on the road. So this is the first time they have them back. Tied series. Steph Curry gets that thing going early. They'll build a big lead. Raptors will do what they did Sunday, chop into it, but it'll be too little too late.
Really?
Yeah.
I say tonight belongs to number 2. Game 3 is number 2.
Now
I
you
say
want it.
number 2
Now you need it.
rises. He's got 35 and 13. I'm going to give him 2 steals and 2 blocks. And I believe Kyle Lowry will finally show up.
He needs to,
Yeah,
by
he's
time.
gonna show up, and I think he's going to show out with 4 threes tonight. And I do think it'll be a shootout down the stretch, but I think Fred VanVleet will close it for the visiting
What
team.
about your guy, Siakam, the best player?
He'll be
you
all
ain't
right.
mention him.
He'll be okay.
How you going to mention the best player on Toronto, remember?
He'll get his 20. Yeah.
What about Gasol?
He'll get you about 10 and 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
I sure hope he's better than what he was Sunday.
That's going to be it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow morning.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports. One of one.